Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to be checking out the HappyRun G70, and this is something they list as a cargo bike, and it has dual batteries, which is really cool, and a really heavy-duty rack in the back that we installed. It has a removable rear seat for the passenger, so we took that off and put the rack on. So we're going to go over the specs and features of this bike. And guys, any discount codes or links will be in the description. Save you guys some money and also help out the channel. So as of right now, this is $13.99 on HappyRun's website. And again, we'll leave the link in the description below. But guys, pretty good price for a dual battery cargo bike with that heavy duty rack on the back. This bike does just come in black, so no other colors to choose from. So really simple to order on their website. Really nice riding style here. As far as seating position and stuff goes, we'll see how that is while we're out riding. So being a dual battery e-bike, this thing does weigh a little bit more than most e-bikes at 96 pounds. So just be aware of that. If you want to transport this bike, I do recommend taking the batteries off. You do get 2 sets of keys, one for each battery. So really easy to take the batteries off and transport the bike. Definitely save you a lot of weight. Now, us being a 260-pound rider, we won't have to worry, as this bike's maximum capacity is 330 pounds, so it will carry a rider on the heavier side. Now, this bike does get up to an impressive 36 miles per hour, and they call it Class 5. There's 5 pedal assist modes, basically, 5 speed modes. This is a 48-volt e-bike, and with dual batteries, it features 38 amp hours of power. The top battery is a 20 amp hour, and the bottom is an 18 amp hour. And guys, they say you should get an impressive 80 plus miles of range on a single charge. And I believe that, especially with the dual battery setup. Now, it may differ depending on the terrain, rider weight, things like that. So just keep that in mind. And also, if you're using throttle only, lowest pedal assist is always going to get you the most range. So your range may vary depending on a lot of variables. Now, each battery does come with its own charger, and it does take 7 to 8 hours from 0 to 100 to charge, which isn't too bad, especially the fact that they give you a charger for each of the batteries. You do get an on-off switch on the batteries as well, which we'd love to see, so they're not draining while they're sitting on the bike. We do recommend taking the batteries off when you don't use it for a long time, but here is a switch. We'll turn that on so we can turn the bike on in just a bit. Now, powering this bike is a 1,000 watt motor, and it peaks at 2,000 watts. Now, we couldn't find the torque numbers for this bike, so if you guys know what they are, please leave them in the comment section below. We'd like to know. But 1,000 watt peaking at 2,000 watt motor should give us a pretty good amount of torque. You get a 20 by 4 inch fat tire, and you get these fenders. They are plastic, so they should keep mud and dirt off of you. Sometimes you gotta bend these into place. Sometimes they come a little bent, especially the front one, but being plastic, they are pretty easy to bend back into place. So we shouldn't get any rattling on this bike. You do get hydraulic disc brakes on here, which is nice. You know how we feel about mechanical disc brakes. So it's nice to see that they put hydraulic disc brakes on here, especially going the speeds that it goes and how much it weighs. So nice to see that. The rotors look a little on the small side, but we'll see how it stops on our first ride. Now, like we said, this bike does come with a rear passenger seat installed. We did remove it to put the rack on, and you also get rear passenger pegs, which is nice, and they fold out of the way when you're not using them. So really nice to see them focus on the passenger aspect of this bike, but also giving the option to put a rack on here. You do get a rear adjustable suspension. We do have an adjustable front fork as well, and we'll see how that suspension does while we're out riding. Now, as far as the seat goes, it feels pretty comfy. It is a little on the small side, especially without that rear passenger seat, but we'll see how this does while we're out riding and see if we stay on the seat. If we, feel this might be an issue with the rack, especially with the smaller seat, us being able to feel this on our back, but we'll see how it is. And this does feel pretty soft, some nice cushion with it. Now, from the ground to the seat, it's 32 inches. So when you're choosing the bike, make sure you're going to fit on it. Now, going back to the rack, this rack will hold up to 50 pounds. So guys, this is pretty heavy duty. It'll be a nice utility for anybody that needs to carry anything on the heavier side on this rack. And you can also use it as a handle too to kind of move the bike around. You do get a 7-speed Shimano on here, which is nice. Now, as far as the crankset goes, the crank wheel looks a little on the smaller side, but the crank arms are on the larger side. So we'll see how that equates to pedaling and how comfortable it is. But kind of weird that they went with something so small for the crank wheel. We'll turn on the top battery while we're on the side. You do also get front and rear turn signals with your brake and tail light here. This is kind of like a moped setup for the turn signals in the rear. You also get this plate mount, which is really nice to see, especially with the changing e-bike laws. If you ever need to register this, you definitely put a plate on the back without any modifying to the bike. Moving over to the front, like we said, you get a fully adjustable front fork. This front fender, we're not really a fan of. It doesn't have any support for the sides there, so it kind of just moves freely. So if it is rubbing on the tire, you're going to have to move it to the side a little bit and get it to the right point where it doesn't rub. So not sure if we'll keep this on very long. There's your front brakes and also your front 20x4 fat tire. Here is your front headlight. It is very bright, and it also has this guard on it too to keep things from hitting the headlight. Not really sure how effective that's going to be, but I guess that's geared towards the cargo aspect of this bike. Here are your front turn signals. All right, so sitting on the bike, we definitely feel the rear rack on our butt a little bit. So that might be an issue while we're out riding. We'll see. But again, we want to be transparent with you as far as putting that rack on the back. So we might end up putting that rear passenger seat back on and taking the rack off. But for now, we'll take this out and see how it does while we're out riding. Pedaling is going to be pretty uncomfortable since we have to be more up on the seat with this bike. But with the rear passenger seat on there, we could definitely move back a lot further and pedaling will be more comfortable. Now, as far as turning on the bike, you do have just one switch here. So hold this down until the display lights up. Beautiful display. And it does have NFC unlocking, which is really cool. So you do have your card here. You just scan that on the screen and your screen will light up. Again, very beautiful, bright display. Cool thing about the NFC is you can actually pair this with your iPhone or Android. You can actually use your phone as a key, so you don't have to carry these around. So I definitely like that HappyRun put that feature in there, because a lot of people have their phone on them at all times. So having to search for your card and stuff could be a bit of a hassle for people. So having that phone unlocking feature will be really nice. All right, so we'll start on the left-hand side of the handlebars and work our way all the way to the right. We do have our left brake lever, our left grip, which these move around a lot. So you can see these are not locking grips. So these are moving quite a bit. So this could be a safety issue possibly. So just keep that in mind. You might want to replace the grips on here. Do you have your controls? There is your headlight. It is very bright, as well as your turn signal. You get an indicator on the screen letting you know that your turn signal is on. We'll see if that goes off automatically. It doesn't look like it's going off by itself. So we'll have to click that and it will go off. Here's your right one. You also get that sound too, letting you know that your turn signal is on. Horn is pretty loud. Moving over to the right-hand side, you do have your right brake lever, your Shimano shift levers, your power button, as well as your half twist throttle. Now again, these grips, these are moving a lot, so just keep that in mind. This may be a safety issue. Now let's focus on the display. They do have an app that you can pair this with to change settings, things like that. We will put the name of the app in the description. You do have your headlight indicator letting you know that your headlight is on. Your NFC logo here to let you know that you can use NFC to unlock the bike and lock the bike. You get a really nice speed display here. We'll actually see if anything goes up the bar for your speed, but you do get your miles per hour right in the center here as well. Now, as far as changing your pedal assist level, I assume it's just clicking your power button. Yep, so this goes to 0, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you get a nice little sound feedback letting you know that you are changing your pedal assist level. You have your tripometer here right above the HappyRun logo. And this is letting you know that the bike is unlocked, I'm pretty sure. And you do get a nice little battery meter here as well on the right-hand side. It would be nice to see a voltmeter. So maybe that's something you can add in the future. but really beautiful display. We're actually pretty happy with the display. It's nice and big, and we'll see how that is as far as the glare goes while we're out riding. You do also get a working brake light. This does light up when you hit the brake. But guys, there are the specs and features of the HappyRun G70 cargo bike with dual batteries. If you guys have any questions about the specs and features, please let us know in the comment section below. We'll get back to everybody. So let's get this thing out on the road and see how it performs. All right, so we're on the HappyRun G70 cargo bike, and we're gonna do a brake test at the storm drain here. See how it stops. Yeah. Wow. All right, so brakes are impressive, really nice. All right, so right off the bat, I am pretty crunched on this bike with the rear rack installed, so I can feel that bar in my back. We'll do a top speed test here. All right, so we got 30 miles per hour. Definitely a long way from the 36 mile per hour top speed that's advertised. Don't forget, we're a bigger rider at 260 pounds, so as far as pedaling goes, I'm not gonna lie, with the rear rack, I am super cramped, and we went over the fact that that crank wheel is pretty small. I am ghost pedaling right now at a pretty low speed. So if you're looking to pedal this bike, even with that rear passenger seat installed instead of the rack, I don't think this is going to be a bike that you can pedal with. I mean, I'm ghost pedaling right now, and I think we're at 20 miles per hour, so in physical gear 7. Now, as far as the pedal assist, let's see how long it takes to kick in. All right, so that was 3 seconds that the pedal assist took to kick in. So that's a pretty long time compared to other bikes that we've tested out. See the throttle. All right, so the throttle is like a half a second and it kicks in. The torque is not what we expected, to be honest, out of a dual battery bike. Again, it's almost weighing 100 pounds at 96 pounds. So it doesn't have a lot of weight to carry, especially with us on there with 260 pounds of weight. Horn is pretty loud. You do have your front and rear blinkers and your headlight button there. I could see with the rear passenger seat installed that this thing would be a lot more comfortable for us because we're 6'2", so I'm really scrunched forward. I'm not sure if you can see, but yeah, and pedaling is just not doable. I mean, this is really uncomfortable to pedal. So let's get that out of the way. Pedaling, especially with the rear rack on the back, not good. So you definitely don't want to get this bike for pedaling. Now, this would be a decent moped option for someone that wanted to carry a lot of weight on the back at 50 pounds being the max load for that rack. This is a pretty heavy duty rack. The seat isn't bad. It's actually pretty comfortable. And the rear passenger seat is the same material. So, I can imagine having that extra real estate of seat in the back, being pretty comfy for us. But with the rear rack at 6'2", being a heavier person now, it's just not working. So I could see what they were going for, but you gotta give more room in the back. Maybe like an extension rack that you can install that allows the rack to be installed with the rear passenger seat, or even, have a spot where you can install the rear passenger seat on the rear rack as well. It smells, man. Thank you.
Just stay back a little.
All right, have a good day. All right, so that was a little detour. Suspension is decent. It's not the best. I mean, we can still feel a good amount of bumps, but I'm sure we can adjust that for our weight and specific terrain that we're riding. Let's take it for a quick off-road trip and see how it does. You do have the 20 by 4 inch fat tires on here, but so going over it so far, I would recommend this bike to someone that doesn't want to pedal, that just wants to use it throttle only as a moped and wants to get some utility functionality out of it. I think this would be just fine, because pedaling is just not gonna happen. Maybe someone that's smaller, but again, we're ghost pedaling before we even hit like 15 miles an hour. So even if you were smaller and you had a bit more room on here, it's still gonna ghost pedal at a really low speed. So it would be nice to see them put a bigger crank wheel on here, it would just function a lot better as far as pedaling goes. So this thing is 100% charged when we left the house, and it looks like there's a bit of voltage sag on here. We're going to do a quick off-road trail run here. So far, so good. Those tires are making a lot of noise, to be honest. But other than that, functioning fairly well. Again, we can adjust the suspension if we needed to, but not terrible. Not bad getting up that hill. Okay, so we did bottom out there with suspension. Yeah, I don't know if you can hear that, but we'll have to adjust that. Yeah, those tires are making real noise. Can you guys hear that? All right, so one thing to note, I know we pointed out how beautiful that display was, but until we get it out in the sun and see how it does with the glare, I can barely, well, I can't even make out what's on the screen. So unless I get some shade, I can finally see, but I can barely see what's on the display. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind too, is these things, oh, they look good in the dark because it's lit up, but again, I can't see what's going on here. So if you have an error or something that comes up, it may be hard to see that while you're actually riding. The battery bar is actually going down quite a bit. I know we said there was some sag. We have 1 bar right now at full throttle, so that is something to note as well. All right, so we're going to do a hill test here on this pretty good sized hill we take all our vehicles on and see how it does getting up it. All right, guys, so this is the hill climb test with the HappyRun G70 cargo bike, full throttle, speed level 5. Here we go. I have to cover this to kind of see the speed. We're at about 13 miles an hour right now. Again, a little bit disappointed with the performance and torque with the dual motors, or with the dual batteries. But we're at 11 miles an hour. Yeah, so not best hill climbing. Alright, so what we'll do is we'll wrap this up, take a walk around the bike, and let you guys know our final thoughts of this HappyRun G70 cargo bike. Alright, so there is the HappyRun G70 cargo bike, which is priced at $13.99. It's got dual batteries, 38 amp hours in total. We got it up to 30 miles per hour for top speed. That's about 6 miles per hour difference in their advertised top speed. All right, so we're going to do a freewheel test to see what we get for a top speed on the HappyRun G70. See if we can verify their claims of 36 miles per hour. Here we go. All right, so as you can see, we did get a top speed of 36 miles per hour, which they claim. So that is very good to see. So there you have it. You can definitely reach speeds up to 36 miles per hour. It is a pretty heavy bike, just under 100 pounds at 96 pounds. You do get this nice rack with 50 pound weight capacity on it. At our height of 6'2", 260, this smaller seat definitely limited how far we can go back, so we kind of crunched on it with the rack on the back. We were definitely hitting this bar here. We definitely want to put the rear passenger seat back on so we can get farther back on the bike and have a more comfortable ride. We would like to see maybe something where you can put the rear passenger seat on top of this and install it so you can ride around and have that extra room, but also have the rear rack as well. But you also get front and rear turn signals, brake and tail light, fenders, 20 by 4 inch tires, 1,000-watt motor that peaks at 2,000 watts. We were expecting a little bit more torque and power with the dual battery setup, so a little disappointed with that. The headlight is pretty bright. Front fender, I wish it had the supports on the side that you can screw in on the side of the wheel there. Fully adjustable suspension, which we'll have to play with. Did pretty decent on the trail. Was a little rough still, but that could definitely be fixed by adjusting the suspension and get more comfy ride as far as our weight goes. Display is beautiful, but only when you look at it in the shade. You can barely read it while you're out riding in the glare, like in sunny weather and stuff. So the glare is terrible for this display. Pedaling is basically non-existent on here. We were ghost pedaling at about 15 miles per hour. So be prepared, if you buy this bike, you'll be using it basically as a moped with throttle only, because that crank wheel is really small. But other than that, it's a decent bike. I wish it was priced a little bit less, to be honest. I think this should be in the $1,000 price range, but I understand with the dual batteries, that probably adds to the price, because batteries are not cheap. But I feel like there's some better options out there as far as the cargo bike category goes. But again, not a bad bike. Definitely see some positives with it. But if you have any questions about the HappyRun G70 cargo bike, please let us know in the comment section below. We get back to everybody. Till next time, thank you for tuning in. Peace out.